everyone, good afternoon and welcome back to Thorough Newspaper Analysis. Today is 15th of July and this entire video series, it's brought to you by LawSikho. So now let's head to the agenda for today. First, we talk about this article which is titled as Separate Rights from Freebies. See, this pertains to the Rajasthan government's intended legislation which is called the Minimum Income Guarantee Law. We talk about some of the provisions of this law and what is going to be its practical implication. Now, the second segment for our discussion would be the news update segment. And thirdly, we talk about important legal developments of the day. So, with this, let's start with the TNA and let's see the why of this article first. The Rajasthan state government, it has shown its intent of enacting a minimum income guarantee law. This is a part of a couple of social security measures that have come from the state government in the recent past. Let's understand some of its provisions first. See, this law, it guarantees a minimum pension of rupees 1000 per month, and there is also a guarantee of 15% increment per year. Initially, before this increment or this increase, the amount of pension was rupees 500, but very recently it has been enhanced. Secondly, this law it entitles an additional 25 days per rural family under the Manrega. So before this Manrega, it allowed 100 days of work to a rural family, and now additional 25 days are also going to be added to this. Also, this similar to Manrega, which is for the rural India, we have the bill. It proposes a similar scheme for the urban areas, where it also entitles and gives the people a right to work of 125 days per urban family. Here we need to understand one thing that when Manrega it was enacted and it came about in and around the year 2005, the Manrega system it revolutionized the entire mechanism that we have. Why? Because it allowed the beneficiaries to a self-select the work based on their needs, and secondly, the beneficiaries of Manrega were given or they were paid for the labor they put in. So the system of identifying the beneficiaries from a BPL list that was going on back then. So what used to happen was if the government, let's say, wants to credit some sort of amount to the beneficiaries who were in need, so then they used to make a reference to the BPL list of the state and then the beneficiaries were transferred the funds. But there was no direct transfer. So as a result, the middlemen, the people in the bureaucracy in the middle, they used to get the benefit. So when Manrega came, what it did was people, the rural Indian people, they used to put in the work and accordingly they were paid. So that as a result, this entire middleman chain, which was a source of a lot of corruption, it got deactivated. Secondly, wage dispersal it became easier while also synergizing development rights with legal rights. With this act, the Manrega Act, what happened was that right to work or to guaranteed work of 100 days, it became a right. So therefore, the development endeavors that the government had, it also synergized, it coexisted with the right to work of the citizens. However, here we need to understand one thing which the author has highlighted, that this is an area that needs work. See, very recently, Rajasthan government it transferred rupees 1000 crore among 51 lakh social security pensioners, the beneficiaries, and this entire transaction was, of course, done digitally. However, owing to some sort of technical glitches or lacunas, they transfer to a small proportion of the beneficiaries, these 50 lakh beneficiaries, a small proportion of these, it did not reach these beneficiaries. So the author is saying that while this transfer, it indeed was, applause worthy or excellent news, but it does require a closer scrutiny. Why? Because there are certain malfunctions that we need to address. What are these possible fallacies? Let's have an understanding of the same. Direct benefit transfer, it should account for authentication errors and inaccessible banking system. Now we know that rural India and across our country, in fact, there is a disparity with respect to the resource accessibility. And in fact, in rural India, we see a lot of people they do not have access to banking systems. So therefore, a lot of steps which, let's say, involve your finger impression authentication and a couple of tech savvy steps or procedures, the people from our grassroots level, they may not be in a position to get access to those resources. And as a result, they may not be in a position to get themselves added in the database for being a beneficiary. And in fact, the poorest of the poor, those are the people who need the utmost attention. So therefore, the marginalized people, they found it difficult to approach the institutions for biometric verifications, which would restore their pensions. Therefore, the author is saying that it is high time that the Rajasthan government, it delivers on its promise of enacting an accountability law. So, what is the need of this accountability law? This accountability law, it is proposed at providing an accountability mechanism, a legal accountability mechanism for all those officers who have acted, in not in a very righteous manner in terms of fulfillment of their duties. So, if they are faulting in performing their public duties, in case they are not accountable to the people, so there has to be a law which ensures that they are accountable. And for any mass delivery of rights, the author is saying that people-centric accountability mechanism, it is of paramount importance. And now we proceed to the next segment for today. And now we proceed to the national news category for today, with this being the first update. India launches historic Chandrayaan-3 mission. Once in a while, how all of us as a nation we come together and then we celebrate the cause of a national achievement. So this was one of the achievements that unfolded in the very recently. So India, it will be the fourth country to achieve a soft landing on the moon after the US, the former Soviet Union, and China. The third in India's program of lunar exploration, Chandrayaan-3, it is expected to build on the success of its earlier moon missions. This mission, it comes 13 years after the country's first moon mission in the year 2008, which carried out the first and the most detailed search for water on the lunar surface, and it established that the moon has an atmosphere during daytime. INS Sunayna, it participates in CMF exercise called Operation Southern Readiness 2023. INS Sunayna, it was at Seychelles from 10th to 12th of July for the purpose of participating in Operation Southern Readiness 2023, which was conducted by Combined Maritime Forces. This visit, it is aimed at strengthening multilateral ties and enhancing cooperation through CMF exercise, which is a multinational initiative that's aimed at enhancing maritime security, counteracting the practice of piracy, thereby ensuring safety and freedom of navigation in the region. During this visit, personnel from or who were participating from navies from the US, Italy, UK, Seychelles Defence Forces and Marine Police, member nations of the European Union Navy Force, they were engaged in a wide range of professional interactions, subject matter expert exchanges, and also conducted mass casualty evacuation drills. India's top table tennis league UTT tournament, it kicks off in Pune. India's top table tennis league, Ultimate Table Tennis Tournament, it is being organized at Shiv Chhatrapati Sports Complex in Pune this year under the aegis of the Table Tennis Federation of India, and this is being organized after a gap of 4 years. Each team here will play 5 matches. India's ace table tennis player, who is Mr. Sharath Kamal, is going to participate in the league. So this is another set of facts that you may keep a note of for the purposes of your exam. Mr. Kamal, he is going to lead Indian team at the 26th Asian Championships to be held from 3rd to 10th of September this year in South Korea. Para javelin thrower Antil, he breaks world record. Indian Paralympics gold medalist Sumit Antil, he broke his own record, which is a world record in fact, in F64 javelin throw with the best attempt of 70.83 meter at the World Para Athletics Championship in Paris. He bettered his own record of 17.17 meter, which was registered at the Indian Open National Para Athletics Championships in May of last year. India gets its 36th and Tamil Nadu its first flying training school. India's aviation education landscape, it has witnessed a significant boost with the recent approval of the first flying training organization in the state of Tamil Nadu by the Directorate General of Civil Aviation. Equi Air Training Organization Private Limited, it has been granted the permission to operate from Salem Airport, marking a significant milestone for aspiring pilots in the region. The curriculum it is set in such a manner that it ensures an all-round educational experience which prepares the student for dynamic aviation industry going further. Now, before I proceed, I have a question. So, as I read the term Salem Airport, actually will give you a hint also. I have a question, and I would request all of you to please go ahead and put your answers in the comment section. So, which is a landmark judgment when it comes to CPC, wherein the apex court gave some directives and important observations. One of the observation pertains to one of the orders of CPC being held to be directory in nature and not being mandatory. And the premise on which the Supreme Court operated was that procedure it is handmade of substantive justice, of substantive provisions. So I would request all of you to A, identify the case law, and second, please put down in the comment section also as to which is that order and which is the rule which has been held by the apex court to be directory. Now let's proceed to the next update. Vizhinjam Airport, railway tunnel, it is the third tunnel in the country to adopt Austrian Tunnelling Method. The third longest railway tunnel in the country connecting the under construction Vizhinjam Airport International Seaport being developed by the Adani Port with the railway main line at Balaramapuram near Thiruvananthapuram, it will use the new Austrian tunneling method for the purpose of undertaking tunneling work. And with this, we've come to the international segment for today. Israeli parliament, it approves bill that limits Supreme Court power. Israel's parliament, it has given initial approval to a bill that limits some Supreme Court power, part of a rebooted judicial overhaul by the Prime Minister of the country that has set off a deep political crisis. The vote resulted in a 64 to 56 majority in favor of the limits, with the Prime Minister's far-right governing coalition overpowering the opposition. Anti-government protesters, they were forcibly removed from the building ahead of the vote, which led to a police complaint against them. The bill it was passed with the main aim to limit the Supreme Court's power to void the decisions which were made by the government, ministries and elected officials by ruling them as unreasonable. And with this, we've come to the last segment where we take up this update. Justices Ujjal Bhuyan and Justice SV Bhatti, they take oath as Supreme Court judges, and with this, the strength of Supreme Court rises to 32. Justice Ujjal Bhuyan and Justice S. Venkatanarayana Bhatti, he took oath as the judges of the Supreme Court. With their appointments, the Supreme Court judges' strength it rose to 32, with two more vacancies remaining. At the Supreme Court, Justice Bhuyan, who was previously the Chief Justice of Telangana High Court, he will have a tenure or a term which is going to last till 2nd of August 2029, while Justice Bhatti, who was previously the Chief Justice of Kerala High Court, is going to remain in office till 6th of May 2027. And this has brought us to an end of our TNA for today. In case you want to get access to the free study material that we curate or the TNA slides that have been used in this video, please feel free to join our Telegram channel. And for the very same purpose, you may scan the barcode here or you may click on the link which is given in the description. Also, these are the point of contacts in case you want to get in touch with LawSikho. The link of the quiz based on yesterday's TNA, it is also made available for your kind consideration in the description of this video. Thank you for being with us.